Assalamu alaikum, warahmatullah, habarakatuh, my young brothers and sisters. Today I will share with you a very, very powerful story. A story that will teach us a lesson that we should never, ever forget. So sit back, relax, and listen. There was a young man who lived with his grandmother. His grandmother was a very religious woman. Whenever the adhan was given for the 5 daily prayers, she would immediately stand up and rush to perform her prayer. She was 70 years old, but she was very active and agile. On the other hand, our young protagonist never really liked to pray. He would always make excuses and delay his prayer until the last minute. His grandmother would always warn him, "My son, you should not leave prayer to this late of time." But he would just ignore her advice. One day, the young man was getting ready for school. He had to leave early in the morning. It was his grandmother's turn to wake up and prepare him breakfast and pack his lunch. His grandmother started making breakfast and packing his lunch. She said, "It's time for you to leave for school." He started making wudu and performing his morning prayer. Suddenly, he remembered that he had to leave early, quickly finished his prayer and ran to school. Thinking of this, he got up and realized that there were only 15 minutes left for Salat al-Isha. He quickly made wudu and performed Salat al-Maghrib. While making tasbih, he again remembered his grandmother and was embarrassed by how he had prayed. His grandmother prayed with such tranquility and peace. He began making dua and went down to make sujud, and stayed like that for a while. When he lifted his head up, he saw that there was only 5 minutes left before Salat al-Isha. He quickly stood up and ran to the mosque. After performing the evening prayer, he returned home. He thought that, since he had already performed all the other evening rituals, he might as well lie down for a bit before preparing for bed. As soon as he closed his eyes, he felt himself falling. He was sweating profusely. He tried to make himself stand up, but he could not. He looked around. It was very crowded. Every direction he looked in was filled with people. Some stood frozen, looking around. Some were running left and right. And some were on their knees with their heads in their hands, just waiting. Pure fear and apprehension filled him as he realized where he was. His heart was about to burst. It was the day of judgment. When he was alive, he had heard many things about the questioning on the day of judgment. But that seemed so long ago. Could this be something his mind made up? No, the weight and the fear were so great that he could not have imagined this. The interrogation was still going on. He began moving frantically from people to ask if his name had been called. No one could answer him. All of a sudden his name was called and the crowd split into two and made a passageway for him. 2 people grabbed his arms and led him forward. He walked with unknowing eyes through the crowd. The angels brought him to the center and left him there. His head was bent down, and his whole life was passing in front of his eyes like a movie. He opened his eyes, but saw only another world. The people were all helping others. He saw his father running from one lecture to the other, spending his wealth in the way of Islam. His mother invited guests to their house. One table was being set while the other was being cleared. He pleaded his case. I too was always on this path. I helped others. I spread the word of Allah. I performed my salah. I fasted in the month of Ramadan. Whatever Allah ordered us to do, I did. Whatever He ordered us not to do, I did not. He began to cry and think about how much he loved Allah. He knew that whatever he had done in life would be less than what Allah deserved, and his only protector was Allah. He was sweating like never before and was shaking all over. His eyes were fixed on the scale, waiting for the final decision. At last, the decision was made. The 2 angels, with sheets of paper in their hands, turned to the crowd. His legs felt like they were going to collapse. He closed his eyes as they began to read the names of those people who were to enter Jahannam hell. His name was read first. He fell on his knees and yelled that this could not be. How could I go to Jahannam? I served my whole life to Allah. I helped the poor. I spread the word of Allah to others. His eyes had become blurry, and he was shaking with sweat. The 2 angels took him by the arms. As his feet dragged, they went through the crowd and advanced toward the blazing flames of Jahannam. He was yelling and wondered if there was any person who was going to help him. He was yelling of all the good deeds he had done, how he had helped his father, his fasts, prayers, the Quran that he read. He was asking if none of them would help him. The Jahannam angels continued to drag him. He had gotten closer to the hellfire. He looked back, and these were his last pleas. Had not Rasulullah said. How clean would a person be who bathes in a river 5 times a day? So too does the Sala performed 5 times cleanse someone of their sins. He began yelling, "My prayers, my prayers, my prayers." The 2 angels did not stop, and they came to the edge of the abyss of Jahannam. The flames of the fire were burning his face. He looked back one last time, but his eyes were dry of hope, and he had nothing left in him. One of the angels pushed him in. He found himself in the air and falling towards the flames. He had just fallen 5 or 6 feet when a hand grabbed him by the arm and pulled him back. Found himself waking up. He was sitting on his knees. He looked back and saw an old man with a long white beard. He wiped some dust off himself and asked him, "Who are you?" The old man replied, "I am your prayers." "Why are you so late?" "I was almost in the fire. You rescued me at the last minute before I fell in." The old man smiled and shook his head. "You always performed me at the last minute, and did you forget?" At that instant, he blinked and lifted his head from sujud. He was in a sweat. He listened to the voices coming from outside, heard the adhan for Salat al-Isha. He got up quickly and went to perform wudu. Say your prayers before prayers for you are said. Namaz par is say pehel kateri. Namaz peri. Ya. Thanks for listening to this story. I hope you all learned something from this story. And if you liked this story, please share this video with your family and friends. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.